Well, good evening, everyone. Good evening, and welcome to our Ward 4 Candidate Forum here at My North Market. My name is Sharon Elamine. I am the Executive Director for McKinley Community Center, which is one of the partners here tonight, along with Destiny Gatlin, who sits on the board with us too as well at McKinley Community. Tonight we have Patricia, who's here with us from Weber Camden, and also Shannon, who's here amongst us as well. This forum was brought to you by, again, League of Women's Voters, McKinley Community Center, and Weber Camden. So we have a number of League of Women Voters here tonight amongst us to help make this go as smoothly as possible. But again, we have our 4 candidates here from Ward 4, which is our North Side Minneapolis area here. Hopefully you'll get a chance to meet some of your neighbors, meet someone new here, and just get an opportunity to talk to each other about the different concerns that we have within our community. So tonight we have Cindy Woodcock, who will be our moderator, and Cindy will go through all of the rules and regulations to let the candidates know as far as timing and everything else that needs to take place. So again, my name is Sharon. If you have any questions, we will have some cards that's available for you. If you just raise your hand, we'll give you the cards to make sure that your questions are able to be entered to be answered. So look for myself, Patricia, Shannon, and any of the League of Women Voters that are here to help operate here tonight. So I will turn it over to Cindy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening and welcome to the Minneapolis Ward 4 City Council Candidate Forum. My name is Cindy Shevlin Woodcock, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters. And I'm not a resident, and I can't vote in Ward 4. I am pleased to be the moderator for this forum. The League of Women Voters is a volunteer organization with a long history of providing unbiased candidate, research, and issue information that is widely used by voters, regardless of their political beliefs. This forum is co-sponsored by McKinley Community, Weber Camden Community Organization, and the League of Women Voters Minneapolis. Your sponsors are providing this forum as a public service so that you can hear from city council candidates council candidates discuss issues important to you and to the city. The views expressed here are those of the candidates alone and not those of the League of Women Voters or the co-sponsors. This forum is being held in front of a live audience in the North Market Community Room and is being live streamed to YouTube. Thank you to MCN6 for the production and recording of this event. We ask that campaign buttons or campaign t-shirts not be worn in this room and that no signs or literature be distributed during the event. Please remain quiet as possible while the candidates are speaking so that everyone can hear. We would also like to ask you to hold your applause until the end of the forum so that candidates will have the maximum time to respond to your questions. Finally, please silence all of your electronic devices. I forgot during the last forum when my granddaughter called to say goodnight, Grandma. And so everybody got to hear that up in Anoka. Okay, Ward 4 is the northernmost part of the city and is home to several residential neighborhoods, parks, and community corridors. Its neighborhoods include Camden Industrial, Cleveland, Falwell, Humboldt Industrial Area, Jordan, Lind, Bohannon, McKinley, Shingle Creek, Victory, Weber Camden, and Willard Hay. Minneapolis local elections have ranked choice voting instead of primaries. You have the power to rank up to 3 candidates in order of preference on the November 7th ballot. For all races with more than 2 candidates, you should consider not just your first choice, but your second and third choices as well. You can also write in a candidate's name. For more information, You can visit the registration table, or there's some information on the back counter. 4 candidates have filed for the Ward 4 City Council seat. They have all agreed to participate tonight. In alphabetical order, they are Leslie Davis, Marvina Hayes, Latricia Vita, and Angela Williams. The candidates have drawn numbers and will be seated in that order, and will begin by responding to questions in that order, and then we will rotate with each succeeding question. We have timekeepers sitting in the front so that each candidate has the same amount of time to respond to each question. Following their opening statements, each candidate will have up to 1.5 minutes to answer each question and 1 minute to make a closing statement. The timekeeper will hold up a card when there are 15 seconds left, and then a stop card when the time is up. We ask that the candidates finish their sentence and stop at that point. Okay? I used to be a teacher, so I'm good at this. All right? Actually worked for the Minneapolis Public Schools. Questions from community members were allowed to be submitted in advance. During the forum, we will take written questions from the audience, and a volunteer will gather the questions and hand the questions to me. And then we ask that questions be clear and pertinent to the issues at hand and made in the form of a question, not a statement. Questions must be directed to all candidates. Questions must be directed to all candidates. Questions that are hostile or of a personal nature will not be asked. We may consolidate questions of the same general topic. Finally, all questions submitted are the property of the League of Women Voters, Minneapolis. We will be asking questions about policing, public safety, housing, neighborhood support and welfare, climate and environmental equity, and action plans, city government, and general questions. To get to as many topics as possible, we will limit the number of questions in each category. Since there is never enough time to cover all the questions, if you feel your question was not addressed, please contact the candidates directly. Now it is time for the opening statements. I'm asking each candidate to make a statement and address this question. Why are you running for Ward 4 City Council seat, and what are your qualifications? And we will start with Marvina Hayes, please.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here tonight. My name is Marvina Hayes. I'm running for City Council because the rent is too damn high. I am born and raised right here in Minneapolis. I live currently in the Weber and Camden area. I'm a mother, a business owner, and the founder of Minnesota Wrongfully Convicted Judiciary Forum. Currently, we have a authoritarian regime happening in Minneapolis. When I'm elected to be your next city council member, I'm going to bring in grassroots democracy. I'm a little nervous. I think that the reason why I'm qualified to do this job is because I'm a long-term member of Minneapolis who have lived through all of the disparities and poverty that has been happening with the current authoritarian regime, city council members, and there has been like no control. Sorry guys, I'm just so nervous. There has been no control over anything that's happening in our community. And so we need real leadership to step up and provide resources, housing, the disintegrate. I know everyone heard about that. And so that's what my plan is a little bit, just to talk for my whole minute and 30 seconds.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll hear from Leslie Davis.
Good evening. I need this council position in order to amplify and broadcast the virus lie. There is no virus because that's closed the schools, it's knocked people out of business, it's caused chaos throughout the world. So we need to address it at this time. We'll deal with snow shoveling when it snows, but right now the focus of everything has to be on ending the lie about the virus. I've studied it, I have the documentation, scientific evidence that there is no virus. So how do I know the truth? Because for 40 years, since 1983, when I formed the Earth Protector Environmental Group, I've challenged the truth by lots of people and caught them in lies. Dr. Jack Mandel, the University of Minnesota, knocked him out of the state. Browning Ferris Industry, Associated Press lies about Jesse Ventura, phony Navy SEAL. I was the guy that exposed in Minnesota the fact that he defrauded the people to become governor because he wasn't the Navy SEAL. And that's another big lie. The Associated Press lied and continued to call him a Navy SEAL. So I know the truth, and I know the lies about 3M and Browning Ferris Industries and dozens of others throughout the state. And in Minnesota, the Hennepin County Board lies about the garbage burner. That's why it's downtown Minneapolis. So with your trust and your faith and your hope in the future, make me your next candidate or elected official.
Thank you. Angela Williams.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Angela Williams. The reason why I'm running is because basic city functions are not being executed to the satisfaction of its citizens in this area. When you talk about our current Democratic elected officials, they are, they're destroying our communities. You know, we live in this area, and I don't want to treat people as numbers. I want to treat people as people. And so when I'm canvassing the area, I drive around and I look and I see what's going on. You know, it's really, really disturbing what our community looks like right now. We have a massive drug problem. You know, it's a problem when we see young kids standing at the bus stop on Dowling and Fremont, and they have the shirt over their head, and they're smoking drugs up under that shirt. You know, and then we have public safety groups that stand right across the street and watch what happens. You know, I'm running because we need new leadership. We need new conservative leadership. And so we can't have city council members asking for private security and then asking regular people to be the police. We can't do that. We can't have money being siphoned off of political allies. We can't take money away from the police department and put it in communities. That takes away from the resources of the police so they can get the help that they need, so they can provide what communities need. I'm running because we just need new common sense. We need new common sense. We need people that are for the people. We don't need people that's for numbers. My background in community and business development and building financial districts have brought me to the position that I am today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Latricia Vita.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. My name is Latricia Vita, the current city council member here in Ward 4. I'm running for re-election because I love serving you all down at City Hall. It has truly been the joy of my life to serve as the ward representative for Ward 4, and I would say all of North Minneapolis, because there's no dividing line to Northsiders. People who live in Ward 5 also ask my office for help too. So love serving you all, love being at the council, getting our fair share of each dollar that's spent. I've served as the chair of public health and safety, and that has truly been a joy. I've worked with our current chief of police. I'm working with our soon-to-be commissioner of public safety, and I've worked with you all. What my office prides itself on is listening to you, talking to you, and finding out what your specific needs are. It's been really good to hear from all of you. You know, some things have lingered on for years in this community that you and I have been able to sort out. Previous to being on the council, I was the director of health policy and advocacy at North Point Health and Wellness Center for 17 years. That job was a joy, but I'm lucky that I get to work on things like constituent services, which is a top priority. We hear from you all every single day, even on Sunday. Economic development, you know, when my first apartment was just down the street on 51st and Humboldt, I got my first groceries as a person not in my family's home right here at Super Value. And, you know, I saw it thriving back in 1994, and I want to see that happen again. More housing options. We've had lots of meetings with folks about bringing projects to the ward, so I'm here to earn your support today and look forward to talking.
Thank you all very much. You did a great job acknowledging that stop sign, so good job. You will have up to a minute and a half to respond to the questions that are coming rapidly forward. The order for the first question will be Latricia, Angela, Leslie, and Marvina, okay? Oh, wait a minute. Latricia, Angela, Marvina, and Leslie. And the first question is, what would you do as a city council member to ensure public safety and to help rebuild trust between the Minneapolis Police Department and our community? And if you want, you can ask me to repeat the question before you start. So, Latricia, you will start.
Thank you for the question, and I will start by saying I'll do what I've been doing, which is continue to talk to you all and hear your individual stories with the police department and how we can reconcile that, but also create policies that ensure that our police department is held accountable. There's a lot of things as the chair that I discuss with the chief, individual officers, and community all over the city of Minneapolis. So being the chair of public safety, I know I represent you all wonderful people, but as the chair of public safety, you know, I have lots of conversations with folks all over the city. Some of the things, you know, that we've worked on is policies around language, around the use of swear words when when the police are interacting with people. That's an internal policy that we've worked on. Some of the policies we've worked on are around wellness, and that's wellness of the officers. I worked with Senator Champion and Representative Fu Lee to bring in $19 million to the city of Minneapolis around public safety, and I see that not only helping us with police, but public safety broader than that. We have a shortage of 911 operators. We want to see more responses that are not police responses to public safety, and so we have a big opportunity with this money, and we have an even bigger opportunity because we want to see something different in Minneapolis. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Candidate Williams. Would you like me to repeat the question?
No,
Okay.
I got it. Yeah. What I would do is
Use your mic, please.
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, what I would do is work with Chief O'Hara. I think Chief O'Hara is doing a great job at what he's trying to do. He wants change in the community, so he needs help doing that. Also, you know, with the assistant chief that he appointed to work in the community, I forget the young man's name. I've been knowing it, and now I'm drawing blanks right now. Gators, yeah. Work with him on doing more things in the community to build that trust. That's what we need. We need more people, more officers in the community to show that they are human just like everybody else and that they care. So I'm going to do that as well. Also, I want to connect public safety groups with a proven record of results. I want to work in conjunction with them, along with the police, and create this kind of commission in each neighborhood to kind of have oversight of what's happening in their communities. So it's going to take, you know, everybody to help me get this done. And so these are some of the things that I want to do. Yeah, like I said, create this commission, work with neighborhood associations in conjunction with all of these, because we really need our neighborhood associations involved. So like I said, my plan is to continue the work that Chief O'Hara is doing, support him in his efforts, work with Assistant Chief Gators on community outreach so we can kind of come back to being neighbors and trusting our service, public service. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Hayes.
You read.
Sure, I can. What would you do as a city council member to ensure public safety and help rebuild trust between the Minneapolis Police Department and our community?
Currently, we know that the federal and state did a dissent decree and found that Minneapolis police and the city administration had been doing a lot of racial bias, and also they had been discriminating against Black people, Native people, and also people with disabilities. I'm a single mother of a child who has a disability, and so my plan is to reallocate the funds and put it more into the community and build mental health, bring in more mental health resources, youth education, youth jobs, youth resources, after-school programming, because of the findings of the the dissent decree findings. I don't think that now is the time to continue to allocate funds to Minneapolis police without cultural appropriate policing. So that's my plan. I want to reallocate the funds and bring in more resources. If we think about a pie has 8 pieces. Minneapolis police gets 6 of those pieces. And so we just need to see the money go somewhere else. Thank you.
Thank you. Candidate Davis.
As the Earth Protector founder in the Twin Cities for the last 40 years, I've had lots of interaction with the Minneapolis and St. Paul police. None of it positive. I read the other day that they have a sergeant on the Minneapolis police force, makes $350,000 a year. He's got overtime, you know, and no wonder they're tired. Anybody that puts in $350,000 worth of overtime must be exhausted. We're running the bank to cash all those checks. I see Target Security. They said we're short police, police the neighborhoods. I see police at the Target store. Watch out, nobody steals the tangerines from the Target store, while the Target store closes the bathrooms because they have too many Black people using the bathrooms in the downtown Target store. So they closed them. And they thought that was such a good idea that they closed the bathrooms on the Lake Street Target store also. So they're ringing the cash register, but you can't go to the bathroom in downtown Minneapolis. There's no toilets out there. If you tell Target, say, well, we need a toilet, they say, well, go to the library. That's down on 3rd Street, and the Target store is on 9th Street. So if you got to go to the bathroom, you only got 6 blocks to go. I had an interaction with one of the bus drivers on the 5th of September, and was mauled by the manhandled by the Metro Transit Police. So they're a problem, too. So with a lying mayor in office, need to get that guy out of there as soon as possible. I have no hope for the police department.
Thank you. All right, question number 2 is the order of response is candidate Davis, Hayes, Vita, and Williams. And here's the question. This came from the audience. How would you use your unique position on City Council to make our ward safer aside from policing?
You're talking about safety, say it's people talk about the cars speeding down the street. I heard one guy that was interviewed, I think it was on Ward 5, and he said, well, I live on Irving Avenue, cars come racing down the street. I said, well, the simple solution to that is you put speed bumps in the street. That'll slow them down in a hurry. You have to drive down the street. I bike most of the time. But whenever I come to those speed bumps, you even have to slow down on a bicycle. So you put a speed bump on the street, on your block, and I guarantee you, the cars will slow up. It may speed over that bump the first time, but that's the last time they'll do that. We need to, make them accountable, the police. It's that if you don't do a good job, you're not going to get paid. Or we're going to reduce your pay. We're not going to increase your pay. So we need some education, and we need some proper training. But right now, I don't have any hope that there's going to be additional safety in the neighborhoods. I like to put in some private safety people. We get, there's some ex-Navy SEALs in the state of Minnesota, get a little extra money. We pay a sergeant in the police force $350,000. I'd use half of that money to hire a couple of Navy SEALs. Let them patrol around the neighborhood. You won't see too many guys with hoods on their faces doing drugs if you put one of those guys on them.
Thank you. Marvina Hayes, same question.
Please reread the question.
Sure. How would you use your unique position on City Council to make our ward safer aside from policing?
I think that what I will do is reallocate the funds. Like I was saying, if you think of a pie, and if the pie has 8 pieces and the police get 6 of those pieces, we don't have money for youth to have jobs. We don't have money for youth to have resources. I know put some of the money towards the housing issue to make sure that people have safe houses to go to, mental health resources, as far as the drug uses, the drugs that's been used on the corner, bring in more facilities to be able to give them the proper care that they need. We cannot continue to allow these things to happen right in front of our eyes. And with our current city council members, we have been seeing them not hold leadership and do what's best for our community members. In the last 4 years, we have seen more violence happen, more people become homeless, more people use drugs, and how do we stop that? Reallocating the funds from the police department and putting them in places that is necessary and needed. Thank you.
All right. Latricia Vita.
Thank you. And I would say, key to doing this work in this position is collaboration. I am fortunate that my office has been able to work with every single elected official that serves us here in Ward 4. Without collaboration, you're not going to get much. So that means we have to collaborate with Senator Champion. We have to collaborate with our county commissioner. We have to collaborate with our friends on the city council, despite if you have political differences. What we've done in collaboration is we figured out ways to get technology to have the community safer. We're looking at bringing the street cameras back because traffic concerns are at an all-time high. And so you go to some cities and you see that they have the flashing light that gives you a ticket when you speed in or you go through a light. Those things we need to address. We need to, public safety is not just about policing or alternatives to policing. Public safety is about adequate snow removal, and working with neighborhood groups to find out specific needs. I can't tell you how many neighborhood groups have reached out this week just about the train and the safety issues that the rail lines bring to this neighborhood. My office is working on that. We're going to continue to work on that. We're going to find some short-term solutions and some long-term solutions.
Thank you very much. Angela Williams, same question.
Thank you. Yeah, I want to reallocate the funds, but not away from the police. Actually, I do. I want to reallocate some of the funds from public safety groups that don't have a proven record of service. So if we take that money back and put it back into the department, then we can start to have the results we need for safety. Let me see. Yeah, keep working with community service officers. They have, that work with the Minneapolis Police Department. They have been doing some neighborhood events, which I thought was nice, bringing out the neighbors and everything, helping us to feel comfortable where we live at again. Also, the neighborhood commission that I want to create for each neighborhood. Each neighborhood have to start getting more involved in what they want to see happen in their communities. You can't put the brunt of the responsibility solely on the back of the council member. We really need people to just come to the table, form these commissions so you can oversee the services. I would like, in a perfect world, to have security designated each neighborhood, like Shingle Creek Security Services. I want to see a visual of security cars in our neighborhoods so people can see them driving around. Let me see. Like I said, continue to work with public safety groups and bring accountability and transparency to improve our livability here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, all candidates. The next question, question 3, is on the same topic. It is, and the question is, what do you think of the Community Commission on Police Oversight? And it's a two-part question. What is your point of view on the community having a say in police discipline? And the order of responses will be Candidate Williams, Candidate Vitaw, excuse me, Candidate Davis, and Candidate Haynes.
Okay. Okay, you said, what do we think about, can you repeat it again?
Yeah, yes, I will.
Take your time.
Sorry about that. What do you think of the Community Commission on Police Oversight? What is your point of view on the community having a say in police discipline?
Yeah, the community should have a say. We live here. We should be at the table every time. I don't really know much about that police oversight community because they haven't discussed anything. I heard there were closed door meetings, so I really don't know what they do. I really don't. But as far as citizens, if we have a vote, we have a say. And I believe that people in communities should have a say about what happens in their neighborhoods like we do now. We're upset about the lack of safety that we have here right now. We have a say about the money that's being allocated to these groups and they're not doing the work to provide the security. We have the say over where we live. We have to be involved. And so my position is to get the community at the table because I want to hear, I can't assume what you want unless you tell me what you want. And so I'm here to work with the communities. And like I said, our neighborhood associations are very important in doing this work. We can engage them and help them get more funding so they can have more community events, so they can be a hub for where commissioners, neighborhood commissioners meet at. Public safety groups check in with this neighborhood association. Like I said, have our own security patrols for each neighborhood, Shingle Creek Security, Weber Security, Camden Security. We need to see a visual of security, and thank you.
Thank you. Latricia Venta, same question.
My name is changing every time.
Is it? Well,
It's okay.
so, that's my
tough one.
artistic license. Sorry.
I got you, school teacher.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm really proud of the CCPO, the Community Commission on Police Oversight. We actually have a commissioner in the room right now. I'm really excited about the work. The commission was just revamped. They had more people apply to be on this commission than ever before. The most applicants in the history of any commission, I think, oh, there we go. In any Minneapolis commission applied to be on this. I was so when I saw the diverse candidate pool from Ward 4 residents. It was so good to have so many people to choose from. It was sad that I could only have one appointee. There's 15 people on this commission. They provide oversight over the police department. They get to review cases of misconduct. They get to review bad interactions with police officers and make recommendations to the chief. I love it. The meetings are public. They're televised now too. I think they're live streamed so you can watch them. You can go in person and participate. Our representative here on the north side is Melissa Newman. She makes me very proud. She has a unique perspective around policing and police oversight. I was proud to appoint her. So I'm looking forward to the good work that's going to come out of the commission. I think we'll hear some things really soon here that are good.
Thank you very much. The next candidate is to respond to this question is Leslie Davis.
Would you count on the Minneapolis City Council to oversee the police department, or who's overseeing the overseers? Is this the guy that just quit the job that was paid $275,000 or $300,000 to oversee something of the city, and he decided to leave after a year? So they pulled in another guy, and I don't even know much about him, and I think he's getting about $250,000 or $275,000. Where are they getting all this money from? To pay to the police to watch the tangerines at the Target store, or to pay $275,000 for a guy to oversee a commission? We don't even know what the commission does. We don't even know what the job description of a Minneapolis police officer is. When I stopped the Minneapolis police from putting 4 kids on the ground and searching their backpacks for no reason, I became a threat to them and was warned to stay back, like the guy that tried to come and rescue George Floyd. He was held back by the Minneapolis police. That's their behavior. It's ingrown in them. They've learned that. They used to they used to call them drunken Indians. Now they call them Native Americans. But they used to take them down to the Hennepin Bridge and hang them by their feet over the rail. And I know that because my friend Dick Franson was a city councilman that they used to call an alderman. Would you trust the city council to oversee the police department? I wouldn't.
Thank you. Marvina?
Please reread the question.
Okay. Question number 3. That's what I get for being organized ahead of time here. What do you think of the Community Commission on Police Oversight? What is your point of view on the community having a say in police discipline?
I think it's very important for the community to have a say in the police discipline and policing in general, because we have seen the federal and the state come back with findings that said that the Minneapolis police discriminated against black people, black people, Native, and also people who has a disability. And so having the community oversee their work is very important to the community members here, because even with those findings, they never came back and said that Minneapolis police as a whole never came back and said that they did anything wrong to our community. I think the first thing that they should do is apologize to the people that was harmed and hurt in our community and that's continuing to be harmed and hurt, and also bring community members to the table to make decisions. when we talk about the policing and the budget, again, back to the amount of money that they receive, it just doesn't make sense for them to hurt and harm our community members and receive such a large budget and continue to treat folks right here in our community with no respect.
Thank you very much. We're going to change topics now. The questions are going to do with housing. And question number 4, the order of responding will be Marvina Haynes, Leslie Davis, Latricia Vita, did I do it right? And Angela Williams. The question is, how would you, as a city council member, increase the availability of affordable housing? How will you protect residents of Ward 4 from gentrification?
I don't think you can at this stage of the game.
Wait a minute. Marvina first. Yeah,
Okay.
sorry. You want me to say it again?
Yeah.
All right. How would you, as a city council member, increase the availability of affordable housing? How will you protect residents of Ward 4 from gentrification?
I think it should start with what the people voted in, which is rent stabilization. I know that having stable homes create education, jobs, foundational wealth. It also reduces mental health issues. And so one thing that I will do is stop all of the corporate landlords from being able to come in and buy up all the land and not giving our community members an opportunity to own a home in the community that they're born and raised in. Another thing, with our Latricia and the city council members have been running an authoritarian region in the city council. The people voted in rent stabilization, and they voted against that. When I'm elected city council, I'm going to bring in a grassroots democracy and bring in all of our community members to the table by building programs where folks can obtain home ownership, and then also putting a cap on the rent, the increase of the rent of 3%. That's what the people wanted, that's what they voted in, and we have yet to see that happen.
Thank you. Leslie?
I don't think you can do any really positive, long-range things with this city council. We need to get rid of a whole bunch of them. All 13 of them have to go, in my opinion. And because the key word that I have circled in my thing is respect. I don't have respect. You know, how are you going to talk about financing or gentrification or any of these really important substantive issues that are important to all of us when you have council members that are worth about maybe $18 an hour making $110,000 a year? It's outrageous. Have a Minneapolis City Council person, 13 of them, making over $110,000, $120,000 a year each, plus office, plus staff, and all of that kind of stuff. And we have chaos in the city. We have an invisible virus going around nobody has seen. The mayor hasn't seen it, the city council hasn't seen it, and with the invisible virus, they've closed businesses, they've put people out of business, they've masked children, they've closed schools, they've caused chaos. We need to get rid of the city council, get rid of the mayor and a whole bunch of the people over there, and start to tell the truth, and have respect for the people. They don't have respect, and they don't tell the truth. That's ingrown, again, in the police department, in the city of Minneapolis, and in Hennepin County itself. They're just a bunch of thugs and just a bunch of thieves and liars. And we need truth tellers and good people in city council.
Thank you. Latricia?
Thank you. Firstly, I just want to state the facts here. The people of Minneapolis did not vote for rent control. The people of Minneapolis voted for the city to explore rent control. That meant that we were going to get a report back to figure out if rent control was a good option. Rent control has never worked anywhere. So just to get rid of that, my name was named about rent control, and that's just not true. It was on the ballot to explore. Some of the things I've done and I want to continue doing is working on some of the programs we have in the city currently. The Minneapolis Homes program is helping with new and people of color, first-time home buyers and people of color to buy in the city of Minneapolis. We have a unique situation in Ward 4 where we had a corporation who bought up a lot of homes in our ward in 2008, 2009. My office is keeping track of it. They have maybe 30 or 40 of those homes for sale right now in the ward. We have been in conversations to make sure that we get owner occupancy of those, and our Stable Home, Stable Schools program, that's a wonderful program for families to move in so their kids can stay in the same school district from K through 12. We're adding more schools in the ward to that program.
Thank you. Angela?
I would continue to work with helping people find affordable housing through, I don't really like the word affordable because housing is not affordable right now. We have to look at a number of things. We have to look at the racial wealth gap. We have to look at economic decline. We have to look at resources that are just not available to people like it used to be. So we have to look at a lot of accountability and integrity when we talk about things like this, because money is available to help people, but we have to enforce and ensure that people are getting the help that's out there available to them. Now, as far as gentrification, how can I protect people from gentrification? I don't really know. We can't. How do you? I don't know how to answer that question. That's a loaded question. How do you protect people from gentrification? You just have to look at all the other factors. You have to look at systems that's put in place to help, or even systems that's put in place to hinder. It's like a 360-degree circle here. You know, you got to look at all the things that's involved. You know, what are the current organizations out here? What are they doing? Like 9,000 Equities, how are they helping people to get affordable housing? Are they providing them with the services? Is there money that can be given to them to help them with these setbacks? But as far as gentrification, we just have to fight to keep what we have right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Question number 5 has to do with landlords. As a city council member, how would you hold public housing managers and landlords accountable for the maintenance and safety and health of their residents? And the order of response is Angela, Latricia, Marvina, and Leslie.
You said, how would I hold public housing management accountable?
Public housing managers and landlords accountable for the maintenance and safety and health of their residents.
Okay, thank you. First, we have to get, I understand about rent cap, but we need renter protections. That's the most important thing right now. We need accountability and responsibility from the landlords. We need a viable tenant landlord ordinance that will give them time limits to make repairs. Like if the water goes out, they have 3 days to do that, or the tenant can break their lease and go somewhere else. We just need more tougher restrictions on accountability for landlords. Now, we're talking about public housing. Public housing has plenty of money to make repairs. I used to sit on the resident advisory board. So every month we would get a copy of the budget, and it's called the Maintenance Improvement Plan. They have money to do this. But what the problem is that they're not putting the money back into existing housing, but they're building new housing, which makes it bad for the ones that's been living where they're living for the past 10 years. They're not painting, they're not upgrading appliances, they're not cleaning vents and ducts, and we have a lot of senior buildings. And so when they're not cleaning those vents, you know, the quality of the air inside, and that's why I was trying to push with the Minneapolis Health Department last year to get air quality machines inside these high rises, because our seniors have respiratory problems, and we really need for public housing to step up and do the work to make sure that their buildings are safe for health. Thank you.
Thank you. Latricia?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. Well, it's getting to the end of the day. Let's see. As a city council member, how would you hold public housing managers and landlords accountable for the maintenance and safety and health of their residents?
Okay, thank you. So holding landlords accountable has been a big part of the work we've done so far. We get lots of complaints from folks who live in the ward, who rent, who have problems, cosmetic problems with their properties. And what we've done at the city is worked with our licensing department and inspections to pull the portfolios of some of these landlords, especially like the landlords, the big corporate landlords who own lots of properties. And those properties have been reviewed and inspected, and they have a lot of work to do. Some have even had to move tenants out to somewhere else to get the work complete. So that's the start of some of the work we're doing. And I believe public housing needs more money. We have a senior public housing high-rise right here, and not a day goes by that I don't hear complaints about the livability issues in that. Some of these public housing developments, individual, single-family homes have been neglected, and that happened after we lost the levy for public housing. And so now they use the equity metrics to ensure that places get fixed, and things like the sprinkler system. Some of these, I know you all remember the fire in the public housing building on Cedar Riverside. They didn't have sprinkler systems. And so this building right now just got new sprinklers, and public safety measures are in place with this money. So I think we need to keep and fully fund these organizations, public housing.
Thank you. Marvina Haynes?
As your next city council member, I will hold landlords accountable. A few months ago, me and my family were dislocated because of all of these issues that we're talking about today. I'm currently on a housing subsidy, which is called Section 8, where they were part of, also part of my family being dislocated for a longer period of time. My landlord, who is a corporate landlord, had so many open violations with the city, and the city will come out and do the inspection, but they'll never come back. He overcharged me $3,000 to where I had to file a suit against him, and I ended up winning the lawsuit. After I did find a home, Section 8 refused to let me move into the home, into this ward, for a month and a week. I don't think that they need extra money, public housing. I think they spend too much money. They also offered me a program that's called the Opportunity Program, where they will pay a landlord first month, last month, and deposit, plus an extra month of rent for me as a Section 8 recipient to move out of a community that I have been born and raised in. I think that tenant protection is one of my main goals alongside of rent stabilization.
Thank you. Leslie Davis. Yep.
Just a thought that Leslie Davis would be on the Metcalf City Council would improve the attitude and the behavior and the performance of the City of Minneapolis employees 5 orders of magnitude. When I walk into the Public Housing Authority building on Washington Avenue, I have everybody with their stuff from their desk packed in the box so that they can exit the door immediately when I exposed a list of problems with public housing. These people are making a ton of money. They've got a good job, terrific benefits. What's the problem with the public housing? So I'd go in there with a list of the problems and confront them, and if they don't have a legitimate explanation, they need to get out the door, and they need to get out in a hurry. And the mayor will show them how to do it because he's a professional runner. So when we throw him out of office, he can run out really fast, and he can take the people from public housing with them. That's what we need to do. We need to get good, solid, ethical, truthful people into office and into employment. And we don't have that in the city manager. We don't have good cops. We don't have good public housing people. Look at all these problems. We have people in the bus, because I know I was manhandled on the 5th of September by the Metro Transit police. And that bus driver didn't have much respect either. So we'll fix them up. They just need to know that we got 13 new people coming in, and we're part of it.
Thank you very much. Question number 6 has to do with the Upper Harbor Terminal development. What can you do as a city council member to ensure that Ward 4 community benefits, the Ward 4 community benefits from the Upper Harbor Terminal development? Oh, order of Leslie, and then Marvina, and then Angela, and then Latricia.
My favorite subject, the Upper Harbor Terminal. I've sent numerous letters to the City Council of Minneapolis with the suggestions what's good and bad and in between on the Upper Harbor Terminal. And what they want to put in there is a liquor bar, just what we need in Minneapolis, a liquor bar. Well, that's the way their brain works, you know. We close the schools, we mass the kids, we shut down the businesses, and we leave the liquor stores open. That's what they are. They're just a bunch of drunks. So when I'm in office, we'll change that Upper Harbor Terminal thing that they're doing now, which is wrong, because it's going to be a liquor bar, a venue, in order to please the First Avenue people who are major contributors in the Parks Fund for the First Avenue nightclub. We could go over that at some point in the future. When I take office, I'll explain to you how it is that there's a park foundation and there's a park and recreation board. And the people that own the First Avenue nightclub, they're on the park foundation, and they give money to the Park and Recreation Board. So no, we need to grow food there, indoor food, and in the whole site. And there's a tremendous market for indoor growing food, fresh veggies and things like that in our neighborhood. Jobs, zillion jobs, high paying, well placed positions also for our neighborhood, for Ward 4, priority employment in the Upper Harbor Terminal. We need to stop that project right where it is now.
Thank you.
I'm still learning more about that whole project and what's going on, and I am meeting with community members, organizations, to see exactly what it is that Ward 4 community members want to see done with that. And so I really don't have an opinion on that matter as of this time, because I'm still connecting with community members.
Okay. So the next person is Angela.
Can I get her a minute? I'm just kidding. Okay. So what we didn't need was another entertainment venue coming in our community. If we wanted to answer the question about gentrification, there it is right there. We didn't need another entertainment venue to come over here. We need housing. If you want to talk about affordable housing, there was an opportunity for it. There was an opportunity to get homeless people out of encampments into a space where they could be safe. We just didn't need that. You know, it's a food desert over here. And I don't even know where the other, we got to go to Brooklyn Center, or we got to go up towards Broadway to buy groceries. That place, the Upper Harbor Terminal, could have been designed to do so many things over here, but what we didn't need was another entertainment venue. So that space could have done a lot of good for a lot of people. Now, they were back a couple years ago meeting at the Minneapolis Urban League around this subject, You know, they had about 6, 7, 8 meetings. And so that was the time for community to give their input of what they want to see happen. But then in the end, the community got like overruled, sort of in an eminent domain type of way, you know, and they kind of ignored the community. So what we could do as community, as council members, is to enforce what the people want to see happen in their communities. And like I said, what we don't need is another entertainment venue that's going to bring more public safety issues, that's going to bring more environmental health issues, that's going to bring more problems. Thank you.
Thank you.
Should I go now?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So
That
Upper
would be
Harbor
just
Terminal is a big opportunity for Ward 4. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our ward. It's access to the river. There's I think it's a 19-acre park that's going to go on that. There's going to be lots of housing. I think I've talked to Devin George, who is going to do the housing, about 84 townhomes, senior housing, and also over 200 units of multi-housing. There's also going to be lots of commercial space. What's exciting is the money from the concert arena or the music venue, a portion of that money is going to go to the McKinley Neighborhood Association and the McKinley Neighborhood, which is one of our neighborhoods that have lower income in the ward, and it sits adjacent to, it's right on the other side of the freeway from the Upper Harbor Terminal site. So there's that. I'm tracking it. I'm making sure that people are sticking with what they say they're going to do for this community when it comes to the Upper Harbor Terminal. The site is cleaned up now. They're in phase 1. They're cleaning it up. I'm hoping to see something, a ribbon or something cut over there soon. Most people I speak with don't even believe anything has happened because it's taken so long for things to figure out. But we have a huge opportunity for economic development and some help with our tax base here in Ward 4. We need business for that.
Okay, thank you very much. We are now on question 7. And the order will be Latricia, Angela, Leslie, and Marvina. So we're just going to go backwards. Okay. How will you personally and as a city council member help to make Minneapolis a carbon neutral city by 2050? And per our climate equity plan, prioritize diverse residents?
Thank you. So as the chair of public health and safety, this has been a lot of work, you know, making sure we prioritize communities of color, in particular green zones, which is a large part of North Minneapolis, whether that's, you know, tree canopies or getting folks' houses fixed where they're more environmentally friendly. But again, this is a partnership thing. We got to make sure Amy Klobuchar's office is helping us with federal dollars that are there for this. We have we've adopted an environmental plan in Minneapolis, and we have to make sure, I need to make sure as a council member that represents Ward 4, one of the most underserved communities in our city, that we allocate funding to meet our climate equity goals. What I'm excited about is that we get to pick what those goals are based on the full plan. You know, today I had conversations with our public health staff talking about, you know, how we get more funds in the city through, oh goodness, I can't think of the tax, but how we get $10 million more in a year, and that money is going to go towards, you know, work that we've already agreed we need to do in the city of Minneapolis. And so we have to continue to stay on top of it. I have to hear from you all what your priorities are, and we'll work together to make sure we get the climate equity plan for 2050 phased in.
Thank you. Angela?
I would like to talk about right now. 2050 is 27 years from now. Things will change then. Whatever we talk about now will be changed in 10 years because there'll be other people in position and they have different ideas than what we have right now. My concern is the health equity of communities right now, working with environmental groups to continue funding them and to pushing their work, like renewable partners, making sure that they have money to continue their solar programs, working with community members for environmental justice to make sure that the HERC and some of the other work that they've been doing is held accountable for what is going on in our communities. So I understand that we're going to 2050, that's 27 years from now. I don't know if I'm going to be here, but I do know that I'm here right now. And I'm concerned more about the quality of health of our seniors in these high-rise buildings. That's an environmental issue. They have respiratory problems. I don't know if you've, ever experienced that, but I have. And so my concern is with the, health equity of what this brings. Our children, what about the lead and everything in schools or in these old homes? How are we, as council members, going to do that?
Thank you. Candidate Davis.
Taking a nap, thinking about the future of Minneapolis. No toilets, taxes up to kazoo, police making $350,000 a year complaining that they're tired and overworked. But you got protected veggies at the Target store downtown Minneapolis because we have 2 cops watching over them to make sure nobody takes them. So when the team of 13, the new team comes in to power, things will automatically change. All the employees that work for the city of Minneapolis will have their boxes packed, so we don't have to go through a whole bunch of stuff. But you know what I'd like to do? Of these 200 or more police that retired or actually ran for safety after poor George Floyd was killed, I'd like to examine what their records were before they claimed that post-traumatic stress syndrome got them, to see if they deserve these pensions that they're getting. But what I'd like to do for our team of 13 is to take $10,000 off the salary of all 13 council members, our new team of 13 coming in, and use that $130,000 for a 2-year contract with a professional public relations person to let them know that we've got a truthful, honest, hardworking city council working on their behalf, because we love the people of Minneapolis, and we want the good stuff for them all.
Marvina?
Please reread the question.
Sure. Question 7. How will you personally and as city, question 7, how will you personally and as city council member help to make Minneapolis a carbon neutral city by 2050 and per our climate equity plan prioritize diverse residents?
Because of the, we know that people of color has always been left behind, and so one of my main goals is to make sure that they are some of the folks who are at the table. As far as like the ecosystem goes, my best friend, we're working together now to try to develop a plan to reduce carbon dioxide and other air quality, because we've been having bad air quality in Minnesota, around the world. And so just reducing the air quality and making sure that folks can breathe clean air. I know that a couple blocks up, we do have a trash site there, and that trash site gives out a lot of pollution and makes the air quality right here in our ward very unsafe for residents. And so just like learning the numbers, learning more of their numbers and how we can reduce that pollution that's coming from that trash site, making sure that houses have cellular systems attached to them to reduce, to help them. Thank you.
Very good. Question 8. What do you think are the most important challenges faced by the city of Minneapolis and why? What would you do to address those challenges? And the order will be Marvina, Leslie, Angela, and Latricia.
I think the most important challenge right now in Minneapolis is stable housing. I think that if we are able to provide people with housing, we know that provide people with stability. Also, another big issue here is resources for youth. We see a lot of organizations that come up and get funding from the city and other places, but we really never see their work come directly to the corners of the city. Like, we have some violence interrupter people who's like hanging out on the corner, kicking bobos with the kids and all of that. I think that those jobs are important, but we don't need people babysitting our kids. What we need is for our kids to have real opportunities and real education opportunities, stability, mental services, youth jobs, resources, and just uplift the people in our community. The people here are so hurt behind what happened to George Floyd, and not only that, the dissent decree that came out and found that the city officials and Minneapolis police had been hurting the community for years. So thank you.
Candidate Davis.
We could have been growing food at the Upper Harbor Terminal for the last 4 years, starting to build incremental indoor farming. But the city of Minneapolis is just such a rotten bunch of people that they won't even help the people in South Minneapolis that are taking over an old building, putting up their own money and their own work and everything to do some aqua farming or whatever. But I wanted to also, because there's some mention of that Herc garbage burner, that's not the place to fight. The place to fight for the environment and the pollution is the indoor air quality, the quality of the food, glyphosate over everything. I mean, we're just through chaos. You got an invisible virus that nobody's ever seen. Have you seen a virus? How do you know there's a virus out there? Because the mayor said so, the professional liar that's going to run out of town once we expose him? How do you know there's a virus? How do you know you need to put on a mask? How do you know that mask is going to help you? You're going to close the schools for the kids again? They could do it to us at any time. At any second, they can issue an order, and they close down the schools and start to mask the kids and force them to stay home. You force the kids to stay home, what are the parents going to do? They have to stay home to watch the kids. It's just chaos. There's nothing going on. And until we cure the virus, COVID hoax problem, there's no way to go forward, because they're going to do this any time now. Bill and Melinda Gates, this is what they love. This is what they do. They finance chaos. That's how they make their billions.
Candidate Williams.
What I think the most important challenges to the city is right now, housing protections, safety, drugs, education. Why are kids so angry? Why? Property taxes. Why do we have so many? Why are they coming up with more taxes for us to pay? Restructuring based on what Chief O'Hara's, his agenda and what he's doing right now. Working with Chief Gators and community safety, the community safety officers and their, what they're trying to do in bringing people feel more safe where they live. We also, what I was Another challenge is integrity, accountability, and transparency at the city council level. We don't have that. We don't have to sit up here and make up words. I know, we don't have the words that you all want to hear. We don't. But we do live in a community where you see all of this going on. And I, for one, live in the middle of 2 drug houses, one on that block and one on this block, and I see cars coming out, and they go down this street, and then they turn and go that way. I see our young kids standing at the bus stop, like I said earlier, with shirts over their heads, getting high. What I do see is a lot of infrastructure in our communities right now, all at the same time. We can't even move around, so all of this, in addition to public safety groups standing 50 deep on one corner.
We need to stop. Sorry.
Stop.
Thank you very much.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yes. What do you think are the most important challenges faced by the city of Minneapolis, and why? What would you do to address those challenges?
So I think the biggest challenge is trust for city government. We have a lot of work to do. I would say all 12 of my colleagues and the mayor understands that we have a trust issue with government. People don't feel like their basic needs are being met. And as the Ward 4 council member, I try my best to do that. Basic needs for folks over here is trash removal on time, adequate snow plowing, safe streets, thriving neighborhoods. And so we're working towards that. The consent decree is a big part of how we're going to move forward. The consent decree is going to cost us a lot of money. The police department needs this consent decree to reconcile with community. I believe is going to be a big part of this consent decree. So I hope that we're all on board for it. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be tough work. There's going to be a lot learned in this, but now is the time for it. One of the things I hear from Ward 4 residents is really just, I want accessibility to my elected officials. I want to call you and tell you about the 2 drug houses, and you do something about it. So I think we have to continue to do this work, and we have to continue building trust, even if it's one family at a time.
Thank you. All right, we have time for one last question before closing statements. You will have 1 minute for your closing statement. So you have a minute and a half for this last question. Okay. How would you use your position on City Council to support and protect diverse groups in Ward 4, including LGBT and community members? And the order will be Candidate Davis, Candidate Williams, Candidate Vita, and Candidate Haynes.
I need to repeat the question.
Okay. How would you use your position on City Council to support and protect diverse groups in Ward 4, including LGBTQ and community members?
Those are not issues for the city council. I would address them. The team of 13, we're not blowing smoke at you. We got reports about the fake virus and what it's doing and where it comes from. We have scientific, scholarly reports globally from Germany, from Iran, from Venezuela, especially from New Zealand. We have these reports about the fake virus, how they did it, So the government, what they're doing, examining, they said, was that virus lab-made or was it an animal or whatever? It doesn't even exist. You're looking in the wrong place. Well, of course they're looking in the wrong place because they're paid to look in the wrong place. Gates has got these billions, actually, dozens of billions of dollars financing everybody. They're controlling all the media. You see anything on the media where they had anybody on any station, any broadcast, where they had a person on the, well, you could have run for council. All you had to do was put up $250 and you could have my seat. But you wouldn't do that. You want to sit in the audience and criticize somebody else for what they're talking about. I'm talking about the most critical issue of our time. Not this week, not this month, not downtown Minneapolis and the toilets and the protected beaches. I'm talking about billions of dollars being spent to keep us in the dark about a hoax.
Candidate Williams.
I'm not going to use my position to pull any political, that's a loaded question. You can't, so how I plan to support, I just plan to support the ward. I don't care if you're LGBT or whatever. If you live over here, then you'll benefit from the work that I do in this area. So what I plan to do is to listen to the people, work with current systems in place work with current systems that will help to elevate the community, build a stronger economic base for commerce, protect renters with a viable landlord-tenant ordinance that does not include the police. That's another burden on the police. We need to take the police out of evictions. That's not their job. So working with environmentalists. So that's how you protect people in your ward. You just have to do the work, the 360-degree work. It's a whole lot of factors that come into this. And so you just can't say, well, I'm going to protect this group. What about everybody else that's not LGBT? I don't really like how we divide people by doing that. So if you live in the 4th Ward, as we all are community members and there's no division, the work is to be done with all of the previous questions in housing, environmental justice, public safety, and overall community development. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think it's my
Candidate.
turn. Yep.
Your turn.
It's me?
Yeah,
okay.
your turn.
All right. It's getting late. So I would say that we have one of the most diverse wards in this city. Ward 4 is made up of people of all races, Black, white, East African, Asian. We have the largest Hmong population in this city here in Ward 4. We have a diverse group of religions in this ward, and it's so warming to my heart that we do. I treat everyone the same. My job is to make sure you feel seen and heard no matter who you are. I do understand, though, that there are unique circumstances. Yes, we're all human beings. We love each other. But some groups of folks pose specific needs. And it's my job to hear those needs and to work through those needs. I can't speak for every family or every person that lives in the ward, but I want to embrace and I want to uphold what their specific needs are. If you're a Jewish family in this ward, you mean as much to me as a Latino family in this ward. I don't condemn folks for their choices. That's not who I am as a person. That's not what my office is. That's not what my family upbringing was. My mother taught me, if you're serving people, you serve everyone.
Thank you.
Oh, it's me again? Dang it, already.
We
No.
don't skip you. We just make sure you get a chance.
In Ward 4, we do have a very large, diverse community. And so my plan is to make sure that everyone in our community have a seat at the table, no matter what their challenges may be. And as far as the LBQTA+2, the numbers just. We know that they are targeted by police and also community members because of the community not understanding people who may look different from them. And so just bringing more education around that issue as a whole into the community and making sure that their voices is uplifted and also that they're protected. A lot of the violence that you see against that Pacific group in particularly happens like in downtown Minneapolis, riding the 5 bus in North Minneapolis. And so just making sure that all the residents in our community community are safe, and especially people who may not identify or look the same as you do is very important to me, and so.
Thank you very much. All right, now we have 1 minute for your closing statements, and the order is Candidate Williams, Candidate Vita, Candidate Haynes, and Candidate Davis. 1 minute. You ready?
Yes.
All right, wonderful.
Oh, was there a question or just talk about what?
Your closing statement.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm here to serve the people of this ward. This is Ward 4 first, and then the rest of the city of Minneapolis. I live over here. I see what goes on over here, and I'm not happy with it. I see a lot of things. I want to improve the livability over here, the overall commerce in this area. I want to improve it. I want to work with everybody here. Like I was saying before, we need to determine what it is we actually want to see happen where we live. You know, so we have to all come to the table. You know, this is I don't want to see drugs over here. I don't want to see public safety issues. I want to see people that do the work. You know, I want to see results. I want folks to come to the table with accountability and integrity. I want to be able to see what it is that they bring to the table. So what I'm bringing to the table, I'm bringing my heart and soul. I love people. I love this community. I'm willing to do the work. I have a track record of building economic districts. I have a track record of organizing housing for getting renter protections, and that's my time. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, it's my turn. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I would really appreciate opportunities outside of this to earn your support to be your next city council member. I want to continue doing the work. I have done everything in my power, even used my own money to keep my ward office on 42nd and Weber Parkway, so you all don't have to fight through traffic or parking down at City Hall. I want you to continue to have accessibility to City Hall, public safety options. Constituent services is my jam. I love when you call and text and email me about something I can fix. I feel like Olivia Pope when you do that. Economic development. I want to see this neighborhood thriving. Housing, that's home ownership. My husband and I are homeowners, and it's made a huge difference in our lives. I want to continue to collaborate to make sure that we get our fair share of every single dollar. I hope I earn your support. Thank you for allowing me to be your council member.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. We really appreciate you all taking the time out to listen to all of our voices and listening to our plan. If I am, let me speak for myself. If I am elected to be your next city council member, my main issue is rent stabilization. Voters voted that in, and because we have a city council who is going against the people's voice, they have yet to implement any type of rent stabilization, and all we are seeing is families losing homes. We don't want any more families to lose their homes. We want to start having families remain in their homes and rebuild Ward 4 so it can be beautiful for all of us to remain living in. Thank you.
What a great thing the League of Women Voters has done by providing this forum and giving me a place to express myself, because I think you people are good people, basically, and you deserve me in City Hall, because I'll clean them up. I'll straighten them out over there. You can bet on that. When you leave here tonight, you need to commit yourself and your friends and your family and everything to get in my corner and help get me elected, because I know what we need to do. We need to clean them up. We need to sweep them out. We need to get that mayor out of the way, because he's a liar. He wouldn't even protect the police department that were under his control. He let them burn down their police station. Who would do something like that? Who would be a mayor of a city and allow his police station to be burned down? You can't trust somebody like that. And the city council backed him up. Now they got this fake virus on us and the masking and all that other phony stuff and that poisoned food they're feeding the kids in the schools. I need you to back me up all the way because you deserve me.
Thank you. On behalf of the Minneapolis League of Women Voters and our co-sponsors, I'd like to thank the audience for coming tonight and the internet audience for viewing. We especially want to thank our candidates for being part of the democratic process and for running for office and being willing to serve our community. Many thanks to MCN6 for recording this forum and to North Market for providing the space. The studio and video recording of this forum and all other City Council forums will be available unedited for viewing on the League of Women Voter Minneapolis website, lwvmpls.org. Recordings may not be edited or used by candidates or public for political purposes. You can find more nonpartisan information about candidates and voting at the League website, vote411.org. Information on voting and registering to vote can also be found on the Minnesota Secretary of State website, minnesotavotes.org. Gov. Remember, Election Day is Tuesday, November 7th. Early voting starts September 22nd. Friday. Yeah. Please vote. Your vote matters. Your voice matters. Thank you.
I have a pile of papers like this high, scientific scholarly papers that say there was no virus, there was no COVID, none of that stuff. They won't even look at it at the city of Minneapolis. They'll put you in jail if you say
That's how they are over here.
that's how they are.
All right, good time, guys.
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you for the chance to be here. Terrific opportunity. Now the people have a chance to freedom.
Thank you so much for having me. Not a problem. You did great. Thank you. Work on your part. That was a good one. Okay. Thank you. Get it. Okay. Okay, thank you.